Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, I think the show is going to be called Beyond Salem. I'm contemplating on should I start reviewing it. The problem is time. Well, it's two things. Time and the fact that, I kind of look at the situation where it's like, or I kind of look at it where it's like, I rather do two great reviews than to do three mediocre reviews, you know. And like right now, it's already like 10 o'clock, and it's not to sit there and say I wouldn't sit there and pull off the third one, but again, it's like you can do two amazing ones, or you can do three okay ones. So it's kind of up in the air. But I mean, I am interested in this whole Beyond Salem thing. I don't know how it's going to work out. You know, I was talking to my guy, DC Soap Sanctuary. And, he was just telling me, like, if you start seeing a lot of people just suddenly leave, just going on trips or whatever, it's most likely they're going there. And that's where, well, not to sit there and say that's where they're going, but Ben and Sierra, going to be going on their honeymoon, so they're going to be leaving for a little bit. But to honestly tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie, watching this episode, I was like, did y'all just go already? Like, can't y'all just... I felt like they didn't do anything, they didn't really contribute, like... It's one of those things where it's like, I wanted her to get back her memories, so that way they can kind of just, get back together, because, like, that was the whole goal. And, like, now that they're back together, it's like... Ugh. It's like you two people are just either so boring or just insufferable. Like... I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not here for the shipping or, the couplings or whatever, but they just seem... I mean, even like when I watch like General Hospital and stuff like that, and I watch like, like Patrick and Drake, Patrick and Robin. They were never like insufferable, Like it was fine, and it was actually really great watching those two, see how they play off each other. I'm not exactly necessarily for the lovey-dovey stuff, but watching two characters that really kind of work together and are not like super annoying works out. Luke and Laura was another great couple, whatever, where it's like they weren't like all cutesy or whatever. Like watching those two, it's just like, it's like they come into Sean's place and they're like all over each other and they're like constantly kissing each other, and it's like they gotta be that couple, they gotta be that PDA couple, and it's just like, like really? Can't y'all like find a room? That's how I feel about Ben and Sierra. So when they were sent to saying they were leaving, I was like, part of me was like, thank goodness. I no, you two are just annoying. I think they're probably really great when stuff goes on and they're not just like on top of each other in every scene. And that's all it was. It was them, those two, Sean, and Sean gave them their wedding present, which was a book by their dad or something. It was some sort of romantic gesture or something. I'm not gonna lie, I was honestly bored to hell, and literally just bored to tears watching it. And then they got on their motorcycle and then they left, and I was like, all right, cool. I am so glad that I actually had to sit down, because like when I finished watching it, Allie, I know I sound like a broken record, but for the new people, if you're just watching this for the first time, Allie vexes me. This girl gets on my damn nerves. I don't like her. I think that she comes across as ditzy and just kind of like very flaky is the best way I could sit there and describe her. And watching her in this episode, it was like, what are you, 12 years old? That's literally how she sat there and acted. You know, she's complaining to Trip about how Johnny's going to sit there and use poor Chanel, and, you know, he's going to get with her and then dump her and move on, and I got to sit there and stop it. I got to put a stop to it. I'm just sitting there looking at this whole situation, and me and Johnny both agree, why don't you actually be with Trip and, you know, work on your relationship instead of being a damn busybody and coming in their relationship and doing all this, that, and third when no one asked for it. But of course, no, that didn't stop her. So she marches over there, walks in there all high and mighty, and then she just starts getting in on, you know, Johnny in front of Chanel. Talk about, oh, I'm so glad that I stopped it because, you know, you're just going to use her, blah, 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 blah. And the thing, now that I sit there and think about it, the thing that was just so interesting, or just so hypocritical, is that she's coming at Johnny for stuff that he did like 5 years ago, like years ago, whatever. How Johnny used to be. And how was Allie years ago? She was a party girl. Okay, she was a girl that had to not worry about any responsibility. Mommy and daddy paid for everything. You know, she was practically just a trust fund baby. You know? Without a care in the world. Oh, I don't have to worry about a job or whatever. Like, that's how she was back then. Which explains why she wasn't so motivated to sit there and get a job now, but whatever. You know, the point is, if people actually constantly threw how she used to be in her face, I'm pretty sure she'd be pretty annoyed and either probably pretty hurt or pretty upset. But yet she walks on in, you know, the Damaris place when Johnny was like, alright, you can go. And she was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Wow. I'm sitting there looking at this whole situation. I was like, Trip, you still want to be with this chick? Like, you still want her? Wow. Talking about aiming your sights low. Jesus Christ. So she goes there, she makes a big ass out of herself, up until the point where Chanel was like, you know what, listen, I'm out, I'm tired, y'all two figure whatever this BS is out. And I have a feeling that Chanel was probably upset with Allie, not just for the fact of ruining her night, but just the way that she's sitting there acting, you know? Because I feel like Chanel, as much as I don't like that character, I feel like she's not entirely stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure she looked at the situation like, okay, so you don't want to be with me, but you don't want nobody else being with me. So she just walked off. It got to a point where Johnny was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to bother to argue with you. And he said something to her as far as like, yo, listen, maybe you're not over Chanel like you think you are. And this whole little walking in with your bravado and the way you're acting, it's showing them. And he just walked away. He was like, alright, screw it. You know what? Listen, if you're not going to leave, I'm just going to go to my room and eventually you can just, like, see yourself out or whatever. I don't really care. And then, you know, Allie just had that stupid look on her face. Like, she knew what he said made sense. And now you got Trip, which, by the way, she just left her date. Like, alright, you know what? You can just hang out here. I'll be right back. I got to sit there and take care of something. Like, are you kidding me? The arrogance on this one is just amazing. You got Trip just there, just hanging out, talking to Ava. Which, nice timing. You know, 28 minutes later, she decides to show up. Okay, sure. So she's talking to her son, and, you know, she figured out, you know, Trip was like, you know, listen, I know that she's trying to go over there. Well, she says she's going over there to protect her friend, but I feel like she's going over there because she's not over, you know, Chanel. And even, you know, Ava saw that, and Ava was like, listen, talk to her. like, sit down and have a talk to her and see where you stand, because you don't want to sit there and be in limbo. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I really, really, really hope Trip takes that advice. You know? Because Trip seems like he's the very, he's like the nice guy or whatever. It's kind of gives you a break and gives you a lot of leeway. And I really hope that he is more assertive in the situation. I really hope he's more assertive in the situation, because I feel like being assertive is necessary in the situation, especially dealing with her, because this woman is already confused as hell as far as who she wants to be with, and again, that episode where Chanel left and Trip walks in and she's all like, "Oh, I want to be with you. Yeah, let's go in the room and let's have sex," while she walks around the block, or goes on a walk to stretch her legs like she's not going to come back. And not even sit there and tell her. And she had to sit there and find out. But now it's all, "Oh, well, I'm with Trip, but now I'm having feelings for it." Like, this girl needs to figure out what the hell it is that she wants. Just a confusing little thing. I give Trip a hell of a lot more props. I give Trip a lot of props, because I do not possess that amount of patience to sit there and deal with somebody like her. So, yeah. Brady, I don't know about him sometimes. To some extent, and now I'm sitting there thinking about it, they're in a hotel or whatever, because he, they double, they overbooked the rooms or whatever. He was in the room that he saw two old people doing the wild thing, and one person was like, "You're a pervert," because, that's the thing, and splashed a bucket of water on him. So now he walks in Chloe's room all drenched, and he was like, "Yo, listen, I need to stay in here." Chloe at this point thinks that, this dude is making this stuff up. He has a hidden agenda. And so they get into this big argument. And, granted, at first I kind of looked at the situation like Brady wasn't there undermining Chloe. And maybe to a certain extent that he was, but I don't know if it was necessarily true. Brady was like, "Listen, if Philip's going to act like this, don't say anything." And, Chloe's like, "I can't do that, because that's a lie by omission." And Brady's like, "Listen, this dude is going to get jealous. He's always been that way. He's always going to be this way. Like, if you can't be honest with him about the stuff that you're doing, you have a problem." And granted, the hotel situation, I understand why she's hesitant to say anything. But to some extent, if you got to sit there and be walking on eggshells all the time, like, that's annoying. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I feel like that's one of those things where Chloe would start to have resentment, towards Philip for her feeling so tightened and like, "I can't do this, I can't do that. If I say this, if I say that, he's going to get mad, he's going to get jealous, he's going to get insecure." No one wants to deal with that. No one wants to deal with that. And this is why I actually sat there in the beginning when they got together. I was like, "You know what? Chloe, you are going out with him as a consolation prize because you can't be with Brady. Okay? So in reality, this whole thing is going to just literally blow up. And yeah, Philip was sitting there doing all the stuff, putting in that work, and I respect that. But, at the end of the day, I felt like maybe Chloe shouldn't have got together with him. Knowing that how he is, and granted, I was rooting for him, but knowing how he is, being in that situation, and then it got to a point when they argued. Philip was on Brady's on the couch, uncomfortable as hell. I don't even think he didn't even actually have any, like, covers or anything like that. So, you know, I think he asked her something, and, you know, Chloe just kind of looked at the situation like, and she said it, because I knew she was going to sit there and say it, like, yo, listen, just come into bed, get some sleep, we're not doing this, I'm too tired, and no. So he gets into bed, he makes like a little wall or whatever, he calls it like the Berlin Wall or whatever, and Chloe just has that look of worry on her face, because she knows that when Philip finds out, he's going to lose his mind. I mean, she called Philip, sit there and talk about the situation, he was already livid. And was just like, call me when you get to New York. Now, Philip is steaming, he's pissed. Bella comes in there because she has to get some cake or whatever. And she winds up talking Philip down because Philip was like, you know what, listen, Brady's trying to do something, he's trying to move in on my girl, I can't let that happen, yada yada yada. And pretty much Bella just kind of just says, listen, your jealousy is going to be the death of your relationship. Philip at this point is about to go down there to PA or whatever to find her. And Bella was like, listen, if you go down there and nothing goes on, she's going to know that you don't trust her. Like, it's going to look bad. You're going to look like an ass. Don't do it. Do not do it. So, at this point, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, cool. You talked him down. Right? No. She literally sat there for 20 minutes to sit there and talk down this man to leave. And then Philip was like, so, is the jet ready? Alright, cool. Yeah, we're going to go down there. Like, he's literally just sitting there like, I know he's going to try something. He's going to try something. Now, of course, I look at the situation. I'm like, listen, if he tries something and she, you know, she falls for it or whatever, then she was going to do it regardless. If she didn't do it then she's going to do it somewhere else. You honestly think if you stop her now, then she's going to realize her mistake and you just kind of move past this? No. He does bring up something as far as, like, you know, the first time that apparently Brady stole her from him, looking for her father or something like that, and things just happen and whatever. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a messy situation. I don't know the full details behind it, and I do know that from what I heard, or from what the show was saying, that he did wind up cheating on her with some girl named Mimi, which I really want to see his girl. I really do. So I don't know the circumstances behind it, but he's like, yo, listen, fire up the jet, let's go. Chanel did wind up seeing Trip for a little bit, but just to sit there and say what she saw a little bit about Johnny and Allie going at it, and she was just like, I'm tired and I'm leaving and bye. And that was pretty much about it. I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Be safe. I will see you in the next video.